is called the Doko. In far-off Nepal, there lived a small family of 4. A man, his wife, their small son, and the man's very elderly father. The old man had worked hard when he was younger, climbing the high mountain to the terraced stony fields to plant and harvest the small crop. Now he was too old to work, and so he was entirely dependent on his son and daughter-in-law. Though he loved them, he didn't like being dependent on anyone. They loved him too, and didn't mind his being entirely dependent, because he helped as much as he could. And for a while, they left the boy with him when they went off to work. The old man told the boy wonderful stories.
When I was young.
And if he told the same stories over and over again, the little boy didn't mind.
That one's my favorite, Grandfather.
But soon the boy was old enough to climb the mountain and to help with the planting and weeding and harvesting.
Bye, Grandfather!
The little family worked hard and still had barely enough to feed themselves. They left the little house with the first light of day and returned just before it grew too dark to find the mountain path. The old man sat alone all day and by evening was eager for company. Because he was lonely, he complained a great deal.
When I was young, I worked hard. I got a good crop if you did as I did.
Time passed and things got worse. The old man complained more than ever, and the couple became discouraged. Like a drop of water that wears away at the hardest stone, his complaints and grumblings wore their love and patience thin.
You leave me alone too much. When I was young.
The young man looked at his wife.
An old ox stumbles, an old man grumbles.
She nodded, and they went on pretending to listen to the old man. As he grew older, he often spilled his food. His shirt was stained yellow with curry.
I don't want our son to see his grandfather eat like that. Why don't we let him eat over by his sleeping mat?
So they fed him on the other side of the room. Because there was little food and he wasted so much spilling it, they gave him less. The old man complained more than ever. He was hungry.
I'm hungry.
He was cold, away from the little fire.
And cold.
The young man looked at his wife.
An old ox stumbles, an old man grumbles.
She nodded. Sometimes the little boy would sit with his grandfather in the evenings and listen to the stories again. Sometimes he tried to share his food with his grandfather.
Here, Grandfather.
If his parents saw him,
don't waste your food.
They scolded him. As time went on, they began to grow leery of leaving the old man alone in the house with the fire.
Well, it's just not safe. He could be burned. He could burn down the house.
So they left him without a fire when they went off to work. The old man complained more than ever.
Oh, I would like to help. If you did as I said, why, I am sure you would get better crops. When I was young.
Finally, the couple were at their wits' end.
Oh!
One night, thinking that everyone else was asleep, the young man turned to his wife and whispered,
Tomorrow, I could go to the market and buy a Doko. In it, I could carry my father far away, so far that he would never be able to find his way back again. But I could leave him by the side of the road, in the shade of a tree. Perhaps some kind people would find him and look after him. Oh, it would be so nice to be by ourselves, Not to have the constant complaining. But what would the neighbors say? They're sure to notice that he's no longer here. Tell them we have taken him to a place where kind people will look after him, so that he may spend his final days in peace.
The more they talked, the more they began to believe that it was true. The next morning, the man went to the market to buy the Doko. After a little while, the little boy came to his mother and asked,
Mother, why are we throwing grandfather away? Oh, we're not throwing grandfather away. He has become so old that we could no longer take proper care of him. We have to work very hard, and he needs someone to look after him all the time. We're taking him to a place where kind people will look after him so that he may spend his final days in peace. Well, where is that place? It's far, far away.
In the evening, the man returned with the Doko. He placed it in the corner of the house and said to his wife,
Let us eat supper. When it is dark, I will carry my father away.
After they had eaten, the man placed his father in the Doko.
Oh! Where are you taking me in this Doko? I am taking you to a place where kind people will look after you, so that you may spend your final days in peace. Ah! You are a wicked, ungrateful son! Was it for this I raised you and taught you everything I knew? Was it for this I nursed you when you were ill? Was it for this I told you stories? I curse you! I curse you!
The old man's railing only made the young man angry. He picked up the Doko with a jerk and started out the door.
Father, even though you have to throw grandfather away, please take good care of the Doko and bring it back safely.
The man stopped.
Why? Because when it's my turn to throw you away, I don't want to have to buy a new Doko.
The man could go no further. His knees shook. He picked up his father and carried him back into the house. He took him from the Doko and placed him down by the fire. From thereafter, they all lived, well, perhaps not more happily, but with far greater understanding.